This broadcast is live.
Hello and good evening and welcome to season 2 of the Truth Revival with Amber Fields and my sexy co-host, brother from another mother, Joshua James.
Finally here.
We have arrived. Whew.
I mean, it's been several weeks coming.
Yes.
Forgive me, I'm trying to find this video so that I can see the comments this time, because on our test run today, I did not get to see it. So, uno momento, por favor.
It's all good. Bring it on. We're waiting for people to join anyway, so. You know what?
Good.
Well, we're in the stream. We're live, waiting for some people to hop on.
I'm like, don't make me start calling you Pamela. She would get so mad if she just heard that.
I know, but we have one viewer. Waiting. All right. Okay. Bringing it up over here too.
Okay, I think I've got the video pulled up.
Here we are.
This broadcast is live.
Did you just hear yourself?
I did. Let me mute that.
Hi, friends. Welcome to season 2 of the Truth Revival. Today we are quarantining and chilling with me and Josh. We are so excited. And Joshua, what's crazy about this is you and I were planning to go virtual anyway. So
right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. Because you were moving. Look at that view. It's there. The view.
Oh,
I can see it.
Finally came. Oh. If I don't move, it stays.
I know. That's amazing.
I love that you blend into the wall behind me.
A little camo with my camo.
I know. It totally works out.
I know. So while we're waiting for people to hop on, I can't wait to hear kind of about the transition from Indy to LA. So you're there, you've arrived. How long have you been back? How long have you been there?
Let's see. I got here I left Indianapolis on the 19th and I arrived on the 23rd.
So it took a couple days to get out there. Did you get to stop and see anything?
No, that really just wasn't the intention. I drove out with one of my best friends, and we just hightailed it. We had the intention of stopping in at the Grand Canyon, but by the time you get 25 hours into a drive, and then you're looking at a map, and it's like, oh, an hour and a half out of your drive and then an hour and a half back into your drive is going to put you back on route to be there in another 8 hours. We were like, no, we're just not going to be seeing the Grand Canyon today. So I'll set a different trip to do that one. But so I've been here for about 2 weeks now. And I was grateful because, I got here and my girlfriend left the next day. She flew out, and then 2 days later, I had 2 of my closest friends fly in, and they were here for about 4 days. But since then, I have been here
alone,
in total isolation, total quiet.
We'll get into that.
2 dogs.
2 doggies. We'll get into that in a little bit. My sister's on. Say hi to my sister.
Oh, hi, sissy. I hope she's feeling all right, man.
I hope each day I feel like she's getting a little bit better. Today she was coughing less, so praise God. So hey guys, welcome to the Truth Revival. We're super excited that you're with us. We know it's been a while, and in the midst of all of this crazy, tonight is really just about hanging out, having conversation. Joshua and I are truly seeking some people connection. He and I have talked several times this week, and we just feel, even in the house full of 6 other people, I'm feeling super alone. And it's weird to see your neighbor across the street and be like, hey, or waving to all the people when we're outside walking and running, and there's zero physical touch, and I'm a very physical touch kind of girl. So, hey, Nadine, hey, you're going to be on here very soon, woman. We want to hear from you about Purposeful Living Inc. So today is really about you. one of the things that, and I'll put the question up here in a little bit, but what we want to hear from you and what Joshua and I will be talking about is what's coming up, what's showing up for you about like what's different, what matters now that didn't matter before, so, and we would love to hear you in the comments and engage in that interaction and conversation about what's different today than 3 weeks ago or a month ago. So Josh, how about you? What's different for you?
I think the experience for me over the past, few months was just, it has been such a roller coaster, man, because, I was not only preparing for this transition of getting out to my house here in Malibu, but I was letting go of my home in Indy, packing. I was preparing my business to move locations. I was, I was trying to spend as much time with friends and family. I was, there was just so much movement going on all at once. And I really didn't have, 5.5 seconds to sit down and relax and be with myself, and there were just so many people that I love and appreciate and need so badly in my life that really didn't get to feel my presence upon me leaving the city, you and your family being one of them. And that you are like in my top 5 priority. So well, I know, and I know that you guys understand that, everybody understood that, but to have gone from, the hustle and the bustle and the commotion to then making the drive across the country and finally landing here with the quarantine hitting at the same time, it was literally one extreme to the other. It was just, it has been, it's been wild. It's been wild. Yeah. I have, I watched your live video that you did the other day, and it literally put me in tears because, you and I speak a lot about the art of giving permission. And, sometimes it's, in my family, we're super communicative, and even the men in my family are very in tune with the way that they feel and their emotions. But, much like, everybody in our, our demographic of age, it's, big boys don't cry. It was that type of mentality where, like, I often find myself kind of carrying a little bit of shame for being in my feels, for being a little soppy, for missing people, for, being sad. And I find myself, even when I'm alone, feeling like, I'm on the verge of tears, almost trying to fight those tears from even coming out, like somebody's watching me, And so, in your live that you did the other day, you were talking about, like, give yourself permission to just ride this roller coaster. You're going to go up and down and up and down. And it was just like, man, even though with all the work that I've done and all the work that we've done, sometimes you just got to hear somebody tell you it's okay to just not be okay for a second,
Yeah.
And this has been one hell of a fucking ride. And it has been challenging, to say the least, to be in total isolation and in moments truly be in bliss, and within the hour be in almost like grieving, like a funeral. It's just been intense. And I think people just need to know that it is okay to be like that. I mean, it feels a little like multiple personality disorder or like schizophrenia. Like you just feel completely out of whack,
It feels crazy. Nadine says she's slowed down my pace quite a bit, and her self-care has become a higher priority. Man, I can't even speak into that. And my sister agrees. Like, we were moving so fast. Like, it was all the kids, and my husband was traveling, and I speak a lot into that. But a part of me, and I say this to some of my girlfriends, but I'm kind of serious, I was praying for a slowdown and wasn't self-disciplined enough to figure out how to make that happen for myself. And man, he answers prayers, but what a tragic way to do it, right? But we don't listen well. So therefore, he had to do something really big to get our attention. I wrote down, there are no sports right now. There are no movies. There is no theater. There are zero ways for us to entertain ourselves outside of ourselves and the people that live in our house. And then obviously a couple, some virtual opportunities to connect with people, which, by the way, I will take this any day over nothing at all. So it's just a really strange time. I'm in the house with 3 teenagers and 2 little ones. And surprisingly, everybody's getting along really well. The flow seems to be going well, but I think my teenagers are losing their minds. I would have thought it would have been the twins, right? But my teenagers are so used to that go, go, go mentality. They don't know what to do with themselves. And I've had to be that mean mom that's like, no, you can't go outside. No, you can't go visit your friends. No, you can't run to McDonald's and go to the gas station, all the things, because they're just bored. So we're having to get creative on what that looks like for entertaining ourselves. But I will tell you what, we have never laughed so hard. I have never cried so much. Like, it's a roller coaster of emotion. And what's cool about it is I know who to go to for what. So we've got networks of friends, we have family in the moment. And I'll tell this story. I posted about it already, but like, I don't think we realize how much we took humanity for granted. And I say that because, and Michelle Gabriel, you're right. We are all grieving what was, not knowing, what the future holds, all the uncertainty. I hear that a lot. And for me, I have peace around that to an extent for myself because I have faith, but I do pray about that for people who are struggling and on the front lines and things. But I didn't know how much I missed people until I downloaded that app, House Party, and I got my entire family on that circle yesterday. And I actually saw my sister's face and how sick she was. And I looked at my mom and I looked at my brother and my grandpa. My grandpa told us he loved us like 10 times. And in that moment, I just lost it. I just started crying because I was like, I didn't even know how much I would miss you guys. I didn't know that, so I just felt like we took humanity for granted before.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I think I read this book one time. It's called The Seat of the Soul by Gary Zukav. And it was one of the most profound pieces of literature that I've ever read. And if anybody has ever had a chance to read that, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't had the chance to read that, now might be the perfect time. Oprah, Oprah literally keeps it by her bedside, and she calls it her second Bible. And one of the things that Gary talks about in his book is, karmic stories, and how, in karmic stories, we're not necessarily always supposed to understand completely what's going on, right? But I think there is, in all of this sadness and all this pain and all this devastation and loss, I think that there's some really beautiful things that are happening. And I think that there are some really profound wake-ups that not only are we having as individuals, but we are having on a global scale, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of talk in the spiritual world about the, this fifth dimension of waking up and being able to see in totality, mm-hmm. The cause and effect of mm-hmm. the full story, right? Where life doesn't just happen to us, it happens for us. And here are all of the components that exist in allowing this to happen and why it must happen, right? Yeah. And strangely enough, even with all of the devastation, I think a lot of people are able to witness this larger scale of current events that are causing much bigger things to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think also too, it's causing a lot of crazy shit to happen. Like people really don't know what to do with this time in isolation or this time in the quiet. I've had moments of being like, I think I might be losing my goddamn mind. Like,
What did you say this morning when you called? Because you couldn't get a hold of anybody.
I said, thank God you answered the phone. I was just making sure the rapture didn't happen.
You got left behind.
I'm like, I thought I was left behind, man, because like my mom, who's a strong believer, she didn't answer the phone. My girlfriend, a couple of my girlfriends didn't answer the phone. I'm like, if there's anybody who's going to go, it's going to be Amber. Let me call Amber and make sure she's still on earth, man. So it was, man, I think that a lot of times we fall victim to the hustle because what's going on in the world and what it in our interpersonal or our personal relationships, what it causes us on a deeper level, we're not okay with feeling. Right. Yeah. So I think that's where addiction comes in. I think that's where people reach out into the world for, food and parties and movies and shopping and gambling and sex and whatever it might be, because they're really just a means of distraction from having to deal with what's in front of us. And there's, I mean, even for me, there's a specific relationship in my life that I've been struggling with for a little bit of time now. And, this time in the quiet has caused me to have some wake ups I don't know that I would have ever been able to have. There was a different level of appreciation. There was a different level of understanding, compassion, empathy, and some of the feelings that were coming up for me literally caused me to go into, sobbing. I was just in tears. Because I think that that's some of the stuff that we purposefully and subconsciously try to avoid sometimes is dealing with having to feel some of these things, having to recognize that the relationships that are in front of us are not going the way that we necessarily want them to go, that, the way that we are treating ourselves, the self-care, the addiction to work, the addiction to whatever else it might be, it causes us to get to see it. And I think a lot of people don't want to see it, For
sure. So guys, thank you for tuning in. We want to hear from you. What are some of the takeaways from this experience? What's different in your life today that didn't or wasn't there from 3 weeks to a month ago? I mean, we are approaching like week 4 of this. So for us, I always talk about being present. I always talk about, and I've gotten way better than I was years ago, but man, my kids aren't going to know what to do when mommy goes back to work. They're going to be like, wait, you're not going to get up and make coffee and make me breakfast and all the things. Like I said it before in a couple other lives. There's just things about my kids I didn't know. I didn't have time to know. And it's heartbreaking because I was like, what was I chasing anyway? Why don't I know the answer to these questions? Why wasn't I present or aware? And so I've had to fight off some of that guilt and shame for chasing the dollar or for feeling like I had to work so hard to, prove something to myself or whatever the reason might be. I am having a glorious time really digging in to who my kids are and to, and my husband, so we're having a lot of fun. We cook breakfast together. We cook dinner together. But I am good at staying in my office, in my happy place, working during the day because I still believe in making a difference for humanity. And one of the beautiful things about my job is I get to do that. And I get to do it from a place now, like you said, compassion, empathy, truly. Whether I sell you anything ever again, how are you? How can I help you? What do you need from me right now? My heart, and me, I'm a heart type of person anyway. So like, I'm like, split wide open, bring it on.
I think the art of discovery, of people that we're in relationship with is you know, is where you find the art of discovery of yourself. You know, it's that's what matters, good, you know.
Right.
I believe that's why God created us. You know, God created us for connection. He didn't want to be alone. That's why he made us. You know, right. And so I think sometimes we get so caught up in the what matters for us that we forget the what matters for the people that we're in relationship to. You know, you and I have the same backbone inside of leadership, and that's a servant heart. And when you have a servant heart, it's understanding and discovering the wants and needs of the people that you're in relationship with, voicing and communicating the wants and needs of yourself, and co-creating and navigating a solution that appreciates both sides, that you receive a goal that makes both sides of that relationship feel appreciated. You know, and so often we come from a place of ulterior motives or scarcities or fears or ego that jumps in the way and causes actions and words that push people out or cause a disconnection rather than causing a connection. Right. Yeah. And I think, you know, sometimes you know, I just believe when we talk about, you know, on the karmic story of the globe, right? I think that God is calling us to remember. I think that this time I'm seeing so many people and having so many conversations with people that I love that are just like, man, I have been building forts with my kids and watching movies, and I'm cooking dinner, you know, I'm broke and I ain't got nowhere to go, but I'm remembering like these little humans or these people that I love need my attention. Right. And for people like myself, like, you know, I have two little ones, two little puppies, but like, you know, outside of that, it's the relationships with my friends and my family and my loved ones. And some of those relationships really deserved some nurturing, you know, and that can only come from the ability to recognize the misfortune that I was creating because of some of the, you know, the attributes that were feeding them, like scarcity and fear and ego and all of that, you know?
Yeah. Pat Pickerel says, in all of this craziness, there's so much love in the world, and it's moving and it's wonderful to witness and be a part of. I couldn't agree more. Because you can't physically show love to someone, you can't touch them, you know, you can't be with them. So I feel like it's heightening, and we talked about it in season 1, the age of enlightenment and people's awareness as to what we're causing and what we're creating. I truly do feel, and it takes a lot. Like I told you on Thursday, like your energy, what I was feeling from you from afar was so much greater than what I felt with you previously when I was in your space.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's probably partly from what you're giving, but partly from what I'm creating too. You know what I mean? So, because now I have that feeling of he's not here. Now, granted, you weren't going to be here anyway, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different mindset that we put ourselves in. Yeah. So I just think that we are taking better care of ourselves, and we are taking into heart more about people, right? But this is about the people and not about the things. So I was listening to a service, church service this morning, and I can't remember which one because I've like listened to 3. That's the good news. If you go to one church service this way, you can get in like 3 or 4. He was talking about so many of the people losing their jobs right now, and that maybe this was God's way of saying that was your resource for that time being. What if I was calling you to something greater, and now is the time for you to search within and find out what that is? Thoughts? Joshua, any thoughts on that?
I'm feeling it.
Right. Yeah. Right. You've said that before, that, you know, you love doing hair, and God forbid you ever stop, because I will be all white haired and looking rough, but I'm probably going to look that way anyway by the time I'm allowed to see you again.
It's real, man. My business is under a mandatory shutdown. I was due to come back on the 14th of the month and spend a week back in Indianapolis taking care of clients, and that's not going to be able to happen. They literally lock the doors on the studio. We are not allowed to operate. And, thankfully, I'm in a position that I can at least maintain some sense of sanity. And, with everything going on right now, a lot of companies like, my auto loan and, credit card and, even the people who own the studio that I operate out of, right? Like they're relieving payments to create freedom for people. So, I mean, even on that level, there's just a lot of compassion and understanding and things going on that I think help out. But, I think being called to do something bigger, is going to be massive. I think it's going to be massive. I think there's going to be a lot of people waking up right now. And I think there's going to be a lot of movement in a different direction. And I think that direction ultimately is just going to be umbrellaed with the word love. It's, I think that this is a call to love. And, there's a lot of us that have been talking about this for a while, about this global wake up that was supposed to be happening. And, that's it's the coming of the Christ consciousness. Right. And I think that this is the beginning of that. And, call it what you will. I think that,
I like that.
I think that it's scary because it's shaking up comfortability and familiarity. At the same time, I think there's a strange level of excitement. I think, I've seen so many posts talking about when this quarantine is over, this is what I'm going to look like, meeting back up with my friends, or, it's just like everybody is craving connection. Right. And I think that in a very big way, we were forgetting how to connect.
Yeah. Authentically connect.
Yeah.
Authentically. I really think for me, the two things that show up so big right now are creativity. Because I used to tell myself the story that I wasn't creative. I'm creating things all day long. And authenticity, right? Showing up in these events instead of being the have to, like I have to go to this event, I get to go to this event, So Kelly East says, many people over the years have asked for more time. Like everyone I talk to, I just wish I had more time. I just wish I had more time. Boy and girls, like we got nothing but time now. So what are we going to do with it, while we wait this out and do our very best to keep ourselves healthy? My sister says, creativity can be buried in some. The quiet can reveal the creativity and passion. It gives the opportunity to water those seeds and realize those things, but it doesn't have to. Maybe this break.
Go ahead.
Maybe this break can be self-care and neighborly love.
Yeah. I mean, Rhonda says, I have felt that so many times with each person who have lost their jobs, so much peace in their voices about the loss and the moving forward. I had a conversation with somebody today where we were trying to co-create a solution for me personally on a financial matter. And, I just said, this is not at all me trying to, take advantage of this to not pay a bill. I'm trying to, protect myself against the upcoming months and what's facing me and this, that, and the other. And she was like, honey, I know the whole world is dealing with this. And if there's something that I can do, I'm going to make it happen. And, it was just, if I was having this conversation with somebody in the past and I was just having a personal financial struggle and the rest of the world wasn't enduring this shit alongside of me, that response probably could have been a little bit differently. But I think people are just understanding struggle and compassion and showing up for people that they're in connection with in a very, very different way, and I think this is truly, we're only tasting and witnessing the very beginning of this,
I agree. Yeah. They say that Indiana is not even peaked yet, since, I'm coming from Indiana and you're hanging out in LA. They say that we've not even peaked yet, and that we're actually not going to come out of this until June. I mean, nobody knows, but not even come out of it totally, but, be able to go out to be able to be in community again and until June. And so that, for some people, that's probably very scary for so many different reasons.
Yeah, there's a lot of people right now losing loved ones, and it's not only are we having this separation just from humanity, right? Yeah. We also have people who are in a personal struggle with losing loved ones. Yeah. I don't know how it would be even possible to go through either level of loss or separation and not come out on the other side with an unbelievable difference in your understanding and your appreciation and the value of the relationships with the people that you have.
That's right. My family's been personally impacted by it, and it was really scary. But there are also, I live in the world of prayer and faith, and I know they're going to be okay. But there are people out there. We have a mutual friend who works in the funeral industry, and she literally her job is to create a memorial and experience for people who have loved ones that have passed. And when you're only allowed to have 10 people in that space and you're doing everything virtually, it's not the same, and it's devastating. Like, I imagine she comes home every night and cries, because that's the human that she is, because it's devastating to lose a loved one and to not physically be there to support the loved ones, and, to pay your respects and say goodbye. It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's a crazy time. So, yeah, for everyone watching, and for Joshua, and for all of you going through this, the biggest takeaway from this is to know that you're not alone. There are people who need you. And I know it looks like taking a little bit of extra effort to pick up a phone. And I've had people call me that I never talked to on the phone. And when I saw their name pop up on my phone, I was so excited. It looks like virtual coffees or cocktails, whatever that is. It just looks different, but people need people right now more than ever. And I've reached out to a handful of people this week, and I'm like, I need time on your calendar. What does it look like? Just so that I could see your smiling face, hear your voice, and know that you're okay. And that's what we want for you too.
I'd love to know from people watching, what are some of the experiences that you guys are having? Is there, I truly have heard it all, or read it all, or seen videos of people experiencing every level of emotion. Some people are truly just thrilled to be at home, stuck, unable to do anything. And then there's other people, that are experiencing the total opposite, and myself personally, it's an up and down roller coaster, and I feel like personally, I'm always in a state of reflection. I love discovering what shows up in my life, no matter how painful it is. Is anybody else having experiences right now where, thoughts are coming up, revelations are coming up, feelings that you guys have never felt before? What are some of those things that are showing up for you guys, and how can you be loved through it? I think a big part of it is not just recognizing what's showing up for you, but I think a huge part of it is recognizing what you need or what you want to help usher you through the experience of it. Is it conversation? Is it connection? Some days, for me, even being out here for 2 weeks and having some of these emotions that I'm having, there's some days where I am craving affection and communication. And there's some days where my phone is ringing and I'm choosing not to answer it, because it's just depending on where I'm at that day, and I think people need to understand that's okay. You know, I think a lot of times I had a conversation with somebody earlier today where I was just like, you know, I think we have been groomed in society's standards to behave certain ways. And some of those ways means if my phone answers, I have to, or if my phone rings, I'm supposed to answer it. If a text message comes through, I'm supposed to respond. If somebody is demanding my attention, I am supposed to give it to them. And boy, I'll tell you what, I'm one person who just could 100% disagree with that, and it really causes feelings for some people in my world, you know. But I think that it just needs to be like, okay, well, he didn't answer the phone, you know.
It's not personal.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's not personal. It's where it's about you, not them. The infamous statement. What about the people who, you know, for so many people, we're at home in isolation, we're not allowed to go to work. But what about the people who are essential and who are out in this and are working harder than they've ever worked before because they're front lines, not even front lines, first responders, all of those, but people who work at the grocery stores, people who are working at the liquor stores, all of these things, they're considered essential and they're still going to work. I had a conversation with my cousin today and she's like, I'm just tired. You know, she's like, I don't get to stay at home and have flexibility in my schedule. So I pray for them too, because they're having a completely different experience than a lot of us are, because they don't get this quote unquote time of rest, you know? Look at these comments coming in. Yes. Oh, Michelle.
I was just reading that. Michelle, I'll be praying for you, sweetheart. I know that you guys, you know, you have peace. And I think, man, I really think that is a gift, man. You know, to be able to find peace inside of turmoil. I mean, that is a gift. That's actually something that I've been, you know, it has been a consistent lesson in my life over the past, well, shit, I guess my whole life, but it's really showing up over the past year or so. You know, there's just been a lot of heartache and there's been a lot of transition and change. And, you know, I think fighting for peace and finding peace inside of the ruckus, you know,
That's huge.
Man.
That's huge. Michelle, you know that if you need anything, that you can reach out to Joshua and I anytime. We are here to help, whatever that looks like, sister. I hate that this is happening for you. I'm so sorry.
Just don't ask me for $1.
I will find you some money, girl. I will find you some money.
I'm just messing.
Yeah, Pat confirms the roller coaster effect. Girl, one day I'm like, and every day's a new day. Like I'm walking around. I was walking around the neighborhood today, and we're doing a lot of sidewalk chalk stuff. And one of them said, "Today's a new day." And I'm like, "That's right." While today was a rough day, tomorrow's a new day, and I get to wake up and try it again. Thankfully, right? One of the things. So my sister is in healthcare. She works with residents at a nursing home, and I feel her pain because she's such a servant leader and she wants to be with the people so badly. And I think that she's being called as a time of rest, because she's one of those, I will take care of everybody else before I think twice about myself. And she is literally, you know, laid back, like, no, girl, for 14 days, you hanging out at home. I know so many people like that, you know, whether they have it or whether they don't, symptoms are there and they're being required to like be still and just calm it down and take a chill. Because for this moment, I need you to be restful and take care of yourself so that when it's time for you to come back, you are like coming back with as much energy and with as much excitement for this job and for who you're taking care of. So don't worry, sis, you'll be back soon. And I'm sure that they miss you. You want to read what Rhonda?
I was watching a video of a girl who had contracted COVID, and you know, she was doing live videos through her experience, and she was talking about how there were days where she truly thought she was dying. She was not going to make it. And you know, she was wanting people to understand the symptoms and what to expect and what the experience looked like. And she said, you know, she was literally sobbing by the end of the video. And she was just talking about how, you know, she was a therapist and she would hold group work and she would teach people about their worthiness and their value. And she would help them understand this at a greater level. And she said, it wasn't until this experience that I actually knew that I was valued, that I was enough, you know. And I think that, you know, every experience that people are going through, I think that God is so perfect and so great that in their own personal experiences of what's going on right now, they are being divinely guided into these wake ups and these epiphanies and these understandings that is solely intended for their heart and for their mind. You know, I think that it truly becomes a point where it's just, okay, hands up, and I'm just going to allow this experience to, I'm going to experience the experience, you know, no matter what it is. And I think, you know, I just think it's so important for us to, I don't want to say enjoy, that feels a little weird, but, you know, but to ride this through with the understanding that it's perfectly made for you.
And it's okay to create joy right now, right? Like, so I was listening to and was recommended by my Rise and Thrive girls to listen to Brene Brown's, where she talks about, you know, feeling, it's her podcast that she's recently launched. And it talks about the dealing with the shame and the guilt of the different reasons of this time. Right. You know, and while I'm on most days experience a crap ton of peace around it, there are days where I feel super guilty for having that peace because I know there's people out there who don't. And all I want to do is hop around the world and give them a lot of love and a lot of peace and a lot of grace and hug them because I'm a hugger and tell them it's going to be okay.
Well, I would encourage you to, you know, and this is not only for you, it's for me, it's for everyone listening and anybody who might watch this video. We are literally beings of energy, right? So if that is the case, and we talk about how emotions and feelings and words are so powerful and they have the ability to be felt and they have the ability to universally manifest and magnify and pull in whatever it is that we're emitting in this energy. So for you to have peace in your life for what's going on, you're only giving that energetic exchange out into the world. If we were to all focus on being in the stillness and being peaceful around it, no matter what's happening, we're creating so much vibrational effect in the world around those people who are struggling, around those people who are suffering with devastation, with loss of jobs, with loved ones, with, you know, quietness and all of this uncomfortableness. That is massive. So if you're feeling the peace, even in a moment, I would even encourage you to go remove yourself from whatever experience you're having, or throw yourself deeper into that experience to ensure that you're getting in tune with that peace even more. You know?
I've been praying for this peace, and I feel like every part of my life leading up to this prepared me for the peace that was required to have during this time. I've never felt peace like this before ever in my life. And I've never also felt more divinely connected either. And I don't think that that's by accident. Rhonda and Kelly both say the love and grace coming out of Italy, right? Like, I want to have that. You know, we all deserve to have that. Come on over, buddy. Come say hi. This man is dying for some FaceTime. Say hi.
There's my little man.
Every time the apple does not fall very far from the tree. Every time the camera's on, he's like, I want some FaceTime.
I also came in here to ask you if I can go outside.
Yeah, go ride your bike, buddy.
I'm also wearing my glasses too.
He's so cute.
God,
sorry.
I love those little nuggets.
I know. My sweet glasses. I don't have them on. Go.
I know. Should we tell everybody I tried to convince you to ship one of your children to me today?
And in that moment, I wasn't going to argue. I was having one of those moments where I was like, okay, nope, I'm done. And after that, I actually went for a 45-minute walk because I have no getaway, right? There's no place to like take yourself and get away from the chaos. And most of the time I love it and sometimes I don't. So I'm going to go get some exercise and make myself feel better and take myself away from the situation. So I have to tell a story on Kelly East. Hope she doesn't mind. But in preparation for a moment just like this, Kelly was my coach for many years, still is, through a leadership program that you and I have gone through. And I used to have a really hard time connecting over the phone. And I don't even know how that's possible because I have family all over the country, all around the world. But having authentic connection over the phone or via video, I was a belly to belly kind of girl. I always wanted to see someone's face and experience that. And so she put me to the test several years ago about how to figure out, what does it look like for me to create authentic, intimate connection over the phone without seeing somebody's face, without being able to physically experience their energy? And so when I started tapping into that, I told her a couple weeks ago, I was like, you have no idea what a gift that is for me today, because now I know what it looks like to create in any situation. It doesn't have to look like belly to belly. It doesn't have to look like we're physically in the same room to make a difference for somebody. And for that, I'm so thankful.
Yeah, Kelly, I can understand that.
Yeah, because 100%. We're not always, I love you too. We're just not always going to get to be together. You know, one of the coping things, it helped me with you leaving, right? I have another friend, his name is Jack, and he's like, Amber, it's okay for us not to spend, you know, a bunch of time together. He was like, because when I'm with you, I am filled up enough for the next time that we get to be together. And I use that in the, you know, when you were leaving, I'm like, I don't have to see him every day. I don't have to be in his presence every day. He fills me up enough that even from afar, you know, you're still with me all the time. And that's what I feel like right now. I think that that's why my peace is so strong, is because all the people that matter to me, they haven't gone anywhere. You know,
no, in fact, I think we're all kind of craving each other even more.
Yeah.
You know, I think the communication lines, you know, have opened up and people are a little more intentional around reaching out and just having those conversations, you know, because like I said, man, especially for people like you and I, and, you know, a multitude of, I really don't attract people who aren't busy. You know, they're just,
that's true.
The people in my life are just busy people, you know, and I think that is, you know, this kind of slowdown brings us all back to that connection, which I think that connection is just, that's the magic of life. You know,
it's going to be real. It's going to be super authentic. It's going to be good. And it's already good right now. We're already causing and creating.
Yeah.
And so I know that we've kept you guys a little bit longer than we normally do, but it's been a while since we've been here. Thank you for giving me a reason to put my face on and to feel like a human again. I didn't think I would ever say this out loud, but I'm going to give it to you all. Is it possible to get tired of wearing yoga pants? The answer to that is yes. I'm tired of wearing yoga pants. So I put actual pants on today. One, because I wanted to make sure that they still fit. Two, I have seen my fill of yoga pants. So we are, Joshua, if you don't have anything else, I'm going to wrap us up.
You know, you did remind me about one thing that you and I had talked about briefly in preparation for tonight.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of work inside of addictions and in 12-step communities and things like that, one of the things that they often talk about is in maintaining a sense of balance in your life, it's making sure that you're staying to a routine.
Yeah.
Right. So every morning, though I'm not seeing anyone and I'm really having no one to impress, I am still getting up and making my bed. I'm still getting up and doing my laundry. I'm still getting up and taking a shower, brushing my teeth, doing my hair, picking out an outfit. And let me tell you, some of the outfits that I've been walking around this house in, girl, is for like Project Runway. I've been putting together all the new outfits, but I think that it matters as far as maintaining some sense of normalcy and not getting into a state of depression is kind of keeping yourself in a higher vibration of feeling positive about yourself. You know, right. Even though you're in the home, when you pass by a mirror, enjoy what you're looking at and not be like, oh shit, you know, what did I do to myself? You know, you don't want to come out on the other side of this kind of not knowing who you are anymore, right? You want to be very sure of yourself. And I think sometimes it matters keeping those routines alive, you know? So yes, getting out of your fucking yoga pants and putting on a pair of jeans is probably helping that a little bit.
Don't judge me.
I'm not judging you, girl, please.
I know, I'm just kidding. You sound just like Nicole, our friend Nicole Bush with Nicole Blair Ware. So we were having conversations and she's always on social media, sharing. And, you know, she talked about making sure that we're getting up and having a routine and getting ourselves ready and putting our face on and not wearing t-shirts every day, not wearing yoga pants every day. Or if we wear our yoga pants, making sure we put on a nice blouse and a blazer or whatever and not wearing black. So just for Nicole today, I do not have on black. There's a hint of black, but she's right. You know, today because I've done all this and I knew I was going to see you guys, I put a little oomph into it. So some days, Josh, you just got to do it for you.
Yeah, 100%. I love the comments that just swarmed through here. Kelly, take care of you. Joshua, Pat, thank you both. Rhonda, I miss my heels. Kelly,
girl, yes.
I did too. Amber, I'm not tired of yoga pants. Rhonda goes, ha, 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 Project Runway.
I know.
Boy, if you could see the plethora of flowy garments I'm pulling out of the boxes in my closet, man, listen. I'm glad my puppies are the only ones seeing this shit show go down.
We'll all be different humans when we get back to the real world. So.
Yeah, I might come out on the other side just a whole woman. You never know.
There'll be some men that will be highly disappointed.
And the amount of playing I am doing in that bathroom by myself is comically getting scary.
Rhonda said, send us some pics. I know you took them. He might know you. He might know you.
Is I didn't, but I should have. Damn it.
Now
okay,
this week
all right,
you will.
Next Sunday, I will wear a flowy garment just for you, baby. I swear to God.
Josh, my hair is white. Josh, let me tell you about that. I know you all can't see it right now, but by the time Josh and I get back together, I'm gonna have a head full of white hair. Like, I know it doesn't. It shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Has anybody broken out the tweezers and not been able to put them down for like 45 minutes?
No, I haven't done that yet.
I'm pulling out. I'm literally searching like, oh, that hair needs to go. Oh, like how bored can we possibly be?
Listen, I'm about to post a picture of my daughter, my 18-year-old daughter, cleaning out the sweeper. Like, this is how bored she is. I'm like, yeah, I ain't mad at you for being bored.
So last week I washed the sheets in my spare bedrooms 3 times.
Buddy, you got to find a day job.
No one's sleeping in those beds. I was like, oh, I think it's due for another wash. Like,
but wait, look what Ian just said.
Oh, that's Andrea. Yeah, I would be bald if I did that. Oh, with the tweezers. I don't mean plucking out like just your gray hairs, Andrea. I'm also
Jody said it too.
If I did that, I would be bald. Oh, look, don't go plucking all your gray hairs. I still need a job in a month. Leave them there.
Yep, I'm leaving them. Let me tell you who else I miss. Miss Allie. She's our lash friend.
Oh.
I got like 3 left on each side, and they're all sporadic. So I'm glad y'all can't see that, but
boy,
God, I miss Allie. And you do too, because you know.
Yes, I do.
You get them too.
That's like, listen, I will let my cars get repoed before I stop seeing her. Nope. Not happening.
She is muy importante.
Yes. Well, honey, with her, I could just fly everywhere.
Yep, that is true. Anyways, we love you guys so much. This has been so therapeutic for me. I don't know about you, Joshua, but I feel human again, and my cup is filled up. I feel like I have some connection, and now I get to go back and be with my family and create some more, whatever we're going to create, joy, love, relaxation, and snuggles, until we're back at it tomorrow. So we will see you guys again next Sunday, 7 p.m. on the Truth Revival. Have an amazing week. We love you. We're thinking of you. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out. Take care.
Bye, guys.
See ya.